Let's look at the second type of loop in JavaScript. Those are called the while loop. Now, similar to how the for loop works, it has actually 5 steps. The while loop and the do while loop have 3 steps only, 1 to 3. They're much more simpler to look at by the syntax standpoint, but actually for loops are far more popular in the practical world. So do not ignore the for loop at all. Practice it a lot. Now, moving on to the while loop. The while loop has 3 steps. The first step is, if the condition is true, then proceed or else end the loop. So the condition is right in the front. You have the while keyword, and then you provide a condition. And if that condition is true, then go run the block. And after the block is run, it's going to come back to the condition. If the condition is still true, run the block. Anytime the condition becomes false, it stops and just exits the loop. Now, one tricky thing about this is that just the way in the for loop, the condition was manipulated. The factor of the condition was manipulated by the second expression. Since while loops do not have these 3 constructs, you have to manipulate the factor of the condition, because I is a factor in the condition, inside the block. All right, so that's one minor difference, or one major difference, let's call it, because it changes the dynamics. So if we wanted to achieve the same goal of printing all these superheroes via the while loop, let's see how we would do that. So this is the for loop example. All right, and I'm gonna basically comment this code out as well, and let's try to achieve the same thing with the while loop over here. So I'm gonna just do the while loop here. So the syntax is, I'm gonna put in while and then provide a condition. So I'm gonna say, as long as, let's see how we can do this. We wanna run and console.log array with I multiple times, right? So we're gonna first of all, outside the loop, create a variable I is equal to, let's say 0, start with 0, and then say, as long as I is less than array.length, then run this particular block. All right, now one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to break this. Okay, so save, and I'm going to refresh, and you see it's running 400 and whatever. See, the number is going up and up and up and up, and you see the loading sign is showing over here, right? So eventually my browser is actually going to crash, because this loop is running in an infinite cycle. If you notice, what's happening over here is that I is 0 and I is less than the array.length, which is 44. So this is going to run, and then it's going to go back over here, and I is still 0. We did not change the value of I, and that's why I is still 0. This is going to run. I is still 0. This is going to run, and it's going to keep on running. So eventually our browser is going to crash. You see now it has run 43,000 times, right? So now I'm going to actually just stop and try to close this browser and open in a new window. Actually, I'm not going to do this because this new window is going to crash as well. So I'm going to basically see if I can stop this. Okay, I stopped it. I'm glad I was able to close the window. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that whenever you are running a while loop or a do while loop as well, you want to make sure that the condition factors do change in the block. So that's why I want to do I++. So every time this block runs, I becomes 1. And then this is going to say 1 is less than 44. So this is going to run. It's going to keep on running until this becomes 44. And then when this becomes 44, 44 is less than 44. No, that's false. So this loop is going to end. Okay, so I'm going to save, and now open our window one more time. All right, refresh and open our Chrome DevTools. And now I'm going to refresh one more time, and you see successfully we have printed all the superheroes with the while loop. Talk to you in the next video.